The era in which a common person might leave a Rolex authorized retailer and profit significantly off a well-known watch model is ending. Is it time to bid Rolex flippers farewell? Watch to find out more. Before we move on, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel and turn the post notification on. Rolex flippers are a popular issue right now. Particularly now, when there are lengthy waiting lists for many Rolex watches, it is virtually hard to obtain a desirable model. Rolex and the AD find it highly problematic that some clients sell the watch they have been given right away because the most popular Rolex watches have waiting lists that can last for years or even decades. When we discuss flipping, we don't refer to individuals who purchase a Rolex, keep it for several years, and then sell it when they want to replace it with something new. And for Rolex and merchants, the main problem is the quick flipping. The real fanatics who want to get their ideal watch and wear it for many years are likewise concerned about it. Flippers purchase a watch, they rob genuine collectors of their timepieces and lengthen the waiting period for others who wish to buy and enjoy them. It's crucial to remember that the bulk of Rolex timepieces isn't sold to authorized retailers or resellers. Instead, it is distributed to average citizens. Some of them merely see the chance to make some fast cash. And it's simple to understand why many people find it quite appealing to purchase a well-known Rolex watch when they have the opportunity to do so when you consider the quick profit that some Rolex watches may provide. Rolex makes it clear that it prefers its timepieces to be sold to end users rather than wholesalers. Contrary to popular belief, most flippers are just normal consumers who seize an opportunity. Finding private flippers who then sell the watches to professional dealers is significantly more challenging for a Rolex shop to do than finding professional wholesale dealers. The point is that there are many different types of flippers. Still, most of them are not professional dealers. Contrary to popular belief, most Rolex retailers do not sell Rolex watches to them in bulk. This may have been the case in the past, but when the market was much different and selling a Rolex watch was much more difficult, all watches sold for less than the recommended retail price on the secondary market. It is obvious that flippers are a problem for Rolex. They lengthen the lines for regular consumers who want to wear and appreciate timepieces, and they also raise the price on the secondary market by increasing scarcity and demand. However, it's also simple to understand why flipping a watch when given a chance to purchase one is so alluring, given the quick cash that can be made by simply swiping the card and reselling it. The problem, as previously indicated, is that when Rolex sells to private people who flip their watches rather than wholesale to businesses, it is far more challenging for them to discover flippers. Rolex has the right to request access to a retailer's financial records under the retailer agreement. They can recognize when a Rolex store sells bulk to a professional dealer and take the appropriate legal action against the merchant. However, since the demand for Rolex watches has grown, Rolex merchants no longer need to take this measure to move their inventory. Due to the limited supply and high demand for Rolex watches, their current problem is that they have more consumers than watches. However, Rolex cannot accomplish this in the case of the flipper, a private person who chooses to flip their watch. The problem is that the authorized Rolex store can't determine whether a private client intends to sell a watch. However, licensed Rolex sellers and Rolex themselves employ a few more techniques to spot flippers. Additionally, if someone is caught flipping their new watch, the merchant may blacklist them. It's important to note that Rolex sells watches to authorized Rolex retailers as a business-to-business cooperation, limiting their ability to control shops sell watches to. However, in most cases, when a merchant has learned that the buyer has flipped a watch, they will blacklist them and prevent them from purchasing any more Rolex watches from that store. However, this would only apply to that specific chain or store if it was owned by a business that also owned their other stores. It is a tricky topic because different Rolex merchants don't collaborate or share a single system or customer record for obvious reasons. As a result, a flipper who has been blacklisted at one Rolex retailer can simply visit another. So how does Rolex know if a watch is flipped? The three main methods they can determine this are as follows. The first most frequent scenario is when they come across a watch and its unique serial number online. The second occurs if someone other than the person who initially purchased the watch comes in with it to have it serviced or authenticated, for example. To do this, the watch must be returned to the same retailer who sold it in the first place. Finally, a customer calls the shop to inquire about the watch's sale. For instance, a hesitant consumer who wants to ensure that the watch they purchased is authentic. However, since Rolex launched its warranty card design in 2020, which no longer discloses the name of the merchant who initially sold the watch, this has grown more challenging. And since the primary problem is when customers sell brand new watches right away rather than when they sell their watch several years after purchasing it, it is no longer a significant problem. There is much to be said about the state of the Rolex watch market today, flipping, and the efforts of Rolex and authorized Rolex merchants to enforce the laws. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time at Pure Luxury.